This video demo is the property of VL Tape Society.
One night, Claire decided to dye her hair again. It was something she had done for years. Nothing unusual, nothing dangerous. At least, that's what she thought. Claire was known as a stylish woman. People admired the way she dressed, did her makeup, and especially how she colored her hair. She had been dyeing it since high school. But at 29 years old, Claire finally wanted to return to her natural hair color. Before using the dye, she performed a patch allergy test. Normally, this test should be left for 48 hours to check for dangerous reactions, but Claire only waited 24. And because nothing seemed wrong, she continued using the product. After finishing the dye treatment, Claire noticed her scalp felt slightly hot, but she ignored it. She thought it was just normal irritation. That small mistake would almost cost her life. The next morning, Claire suddenly woke up screaming, "Help! I can't see!" Her mother rushed into the bedroom and immediately froze in shock. Claire's face had swollen to nearly twice its normal size. Her eyelids became so swollen they completely shut. Her skin turned deep red and parts of her scalp started blistering. Claire later said her entire head felt like it was burning from the inside. While being rushed to the hospital, her condition became even worse. Her breathing turned heavy, her throat started tightening, and doctors quickly realized she was suffering from anaphylactic shock, a deadly allergic reaction capable of killing someone within minutes. By the time Claire arrived at the emergency room, medical staff rushed her directly into the resuscitation unit. Doctors saw severe swelling across her face and scalp. Blisters filled with fluid had formed on her skin. Large amounts of hair were falling out due to extreme inflammation. Claire even passed out several times because of the unbearable pain. Doctors knew they were racing against time. If they failed to reopen her airway quickly, Claire could die. Emergency medication was immediately injected into her body to stop the allergic reaction. Slowly, her breathing stabilized. The swelling began to reduce. And after nearly 20 hours of treatment, Claire was finally allowed to return home. But the nightmare was far from over, because only hours later, the allergic reaction came back, even worse than before. Not long after returning home from the hospital, Claire suddenly struggled to breathe again. Her throat felt like it was closing shut. Terrified, her family rushed her back to the emergency room for the second time. But this wouldn't be the last. Within just 1 week, Claire visited the ER 4 separate times. Doctors realized this was no ordinary allergy. Something inside her immune system had become dangerously unstable. Even small triggers began causing violent reactions inside her body. Doctors started investigating everything Claire had recently used or eaten. And eventually, they found the real cause: hair dye. More specifically, a chemical called PPD, short for Paraphenylenediamine. PPD is commonly used in permanent black and brown hair dyes because it creates long-lasting color. But it's also known as a powerful allergen. In some people, it can trigger severe reactions like skin burns, facial swelling, breathing problems, and, in rare cases, anaphylactic shock. That's exactly what happened to Claire. The terrifying part is that Claire had dyed her hair many times before without problems. But according to doctors, allergies like this can suddenly appear after repeated exposure. The immune system slowly becomes more sensitive over time, until one day, it completely overreacts. Doctors believe Claire's body had finally reached that breaking point, and because she didn't wait the full 48 hours during the patch test, the early warning signs were missed. If she had waited longer, the reaction may have appeared before she applied the dye to her entire scalp. Doctors later described Claire's condition as one of the worst hair dye allergy cases they had ever seen. If treatment had been delayed even slightly, she might not have survived. After surviving the incident, Claire completely changed her lifestyle. She became far more careful about chemicals, cosmetics, food, and even clothing materials that might trigger another reaction. because now she understands something terrifying. Sometimes, the most ordinary products inside your home can suddenly become deadly. And in Claire's case, a simple bottle of hair dye almost took her life forever.